tech. We'll be moving on to the science and tech section from the third quarter of 2024. Now, naturally existing DNA editing tools. Scientists discovered naturally existing DNA editing tool, bridge recombinase mechanism. Gene editing involves altering organisms' genetic material by inserting, replacing, or deleting DNA sequences to enhance traits in plants or animals or correct genetic disorders. The bridge recombinase mechanism uses jumping genes. Jumping genes are mobile genetic elements that can cut and paste themselves into DNA, enabling dynamic on the fly genetic modifications. These genes are found across all life forms. Jumping genes consist of a small DNA segment with a recombinase enzyme, additional DNA sequence at their end. These sequences bind to and manipulate DNA. Now, how BRM work? The extra bridge recombinase method. So the extra DNA at the end of the jumping gene fuses together, transforming the DNA double helix into a single-stranded DNA molecule. This RNA molecule can bind to two DNA segments, donor and target, allowing for flexible DNA modifications. The donor and target loops can be programmed independently, providing extensive flexibility for inserting or recombining DNA sequences. Significance of BRM. BRM enables researchers to rearrange, combine, invert, duplicate, and move long DNA sequences with precision. It holds potential for advancing gene editing therapies and developing treatments for genetic disease. Now, other gene editing technologies, CRISPR-Cas9, these technologies allow genetic material to be added, removed, or altered at locations in the genome. TALEN, transcription activator like effector nuclease, uses engineered proteins to target and cut specific DNA sequences for gene modification. ZFN, finger nuclease, combines zinc finger DNA binding domains with nuclease to edit genes at targeted location. Now, mitochondrial and mitochond mitochondrial disease and mitochondrial donations. Scientists are preparing for a clinical trial of a new IVF procedure called mitochondrial donation to treat mito. About mitochondrial disease, mito are a group of conditions that disrupt the functioning of mitochondria in the body. Now, mitochondria are the powerhouse of a cell, producing 90% of the energies of a body needed to function. Mito diseases impair the mitochondria's ability to produce energy necessary for organs to function properly. Mitochondrial disorders can be caused by mutations in either the mitochondrial DNA, that is inherited only from the mother, or nuclear DNA inherited from both parents. About mitochondrial donation, three parent baby technique. Mitochondrial donation is an IVF based technique that enables individuals with defective mitochondrial DNA to have children without transmitting the faulty disease. The process involves transferring the nuclear DNA from an egg with faulty mitochondria to a donor egg with a healthy mitochondria. The child born from this process inherits nuclear DNA from the parents and mitochondrial DNA from the donor. Now, ISDRA2TNPB, plant genome editing tool. ICAR, National Rice Research Institute, and Pennsylvania State University have developed a new miniature genome editing tool, ISDRA2TNPB. Researchers have developed a new genome editing tool, ISDRA2TNPB, derived from the bacterium Deinococcus radiodurans. TNPB is a protein made up of about 400 amino acids. It's part of a family of transposable elements or jumping genes, which are segments of DNA that can move to different locations in the genome. ISDRA2TNPB is less than half the size of Cas9 and Cas12 of CRISPR, making it more suitable for use in plant cells. Now, limitations of the traditional genome editing tools. CRISPR technologies use protein like Cas9 and Cas12, which is used widely for genome editing. These proteins cut DNA at specific points to modify genes, but their larger size, that is 1000 to 1350 amino acids, limit their use in some cases. Now, significance of ISDRA to TNPB. The new TNPB based system achieves 33.58% editing efficiency in plant genomes and can target areas that Cas9 or Cas12 cannot reach. The researchers showed that ISDRA2-TNPB is ineffective in editing both monocot plants like rice and dicot plants like Arabidopsis. ISDRA2-TNPB could be used in crop improvement, precision breeding, developing eco-friendly biological pesticides. Now, small modular reactors. The government of India is planning to collaborate with private sector to study and test small modular reactors. About small modular reactors, SMRs are advanced nuclear reactors that have a power capacity of up to 300 megawatt electrons per unit. Smart, small modular reactors are designed to operate at 40 to 60 years with capacity factors exceeding 90%. Now, large conventional reactors, they are 700 plus. Small modular reactors are 300. Micro reactors are up to 10 megawatts. Now, key factors: higher energy content, utilizing nuclear fuel with greater energy output. Modular design enables easier assembly and scalability. Compact design requires a smaller operation surface area. Cost efficiency, potential for low capacity cost compared to traditional reactors. Now, tokamak fusion reactors. China has made the world's first high temperature superconducting tokamak device, that is HH70. Previously, EU and Japan launched the JT60SA, the world's largest and most advanced tokamak fusion reactor in Japan, to support fusion research in international thermonuclear experimental reactors. A tokamak is a donut shaped device designed for controlled thermonuclear fusion. About nuclear fusion is a process in which two light atomic nuclei combine to form a heavier nucleus, releasing a significant amount of energy. Its power starts including the sun. It powers stars, including the sun, and holds potential as a clean and virtually limitless energy source on Earth. About ITER, ITER is an international collaboration involving China, Europe, Japan, India, South Korea, Russia, and United States. It is being built in France to demonstrate the feasibility of fusion as a sustainable energy source. Designed as the largest tokamak device, it aims to test magnetic confinement for producing fusion energy. Now, vaccine derived poliovirus. A 2-year-old child in Meghalaya has been confirmed to be suffering from vaccine derived polio. Vaccine derived poliovirus, VDPV, a rare poliovirus form typically originating from oral polio vaccines, mainly appearing in areas with low sanitation and immunity. Occurrence and transmission. The OPV contains a weakened virus that replicates in intestine, triggering immunity without causing disease. Weakened virus. After vaccination, this weakened virus is excreted in stool and can spread in communities with poor sanitation and low immunization. Okay. In under-immunized areas, the virus may mutate and revert to a form capable of causing paralysis like wild poliovirus. Now, types of VDPV: circulating VDPV, that is CVDPV, spreads in communities, leading to outbreaks in low vaccination areas. Immunodeficiency related VDPV occurs in individuals with weak immune systems where the vaccine virus persists and mutates. Ambiguous VDPVs, AVDPV, cases where the virus source is unclear, not fitting into the other two categories. Now, WHO declares Mpox as a PHEIC. The WHO has declared Mpox as a public health emergency of international concern, PHEIC. A PHEIC is a declaration by the WHO under the International Health Regulations of 2005 for an extraordinary event that poses a public health risk and may require global response. About Mpox, it is a disease caused by orthopox virus, which is closely related to smallpox virus. It was first identified in humans in 1970s and is endemic in Central and West Asia. Transmission: Mpox spreads from animal to humans, that is zoonotic transmission, and between humans through close contact, respiratory droplets, and contaminated objects. Now, symptoms: common symptoms include fever, rash, swollen lymph nodes. In some cases, it can lead to severe complications or death. Now, vaccination: WHO recommends vaccinations to prevent Mpox. with vaccines widely used in Nigeria and DRC to control outbreaks. Now, Framework Convention on Artificial Intelligence. The US, EU, UK are set to sign the Council of Europe's Convention on Artificial Intelligence about the Framework Convention on AI. It is the first internationally legally binding treaty on AI regulation developed over 2 years by representatives from over 50 countries. The treaty aims to set global standards for responsible AI development, addressing ethical concerns and safeguarding democracy. Now, 3D conditions, human centric AI systems must align with the human rights and democratic values, transparency and accountability. AI systems, especially those interacting with people, must operate transparently with legal recourses for rights infringement. Exceptions: the treaty covers all AI systems except those for national security or defense, but these must still adhere to international laws and democratic principles. Now, responsibilities of signatories. Nations are accountable for harmful or discriminatory AI outcomes. They must ensure AI respects equality and privacy with legal recourse for rights violation. AI must not compromise democratic institutions' integrity. Nations must protect public debate, fair access to information, and individuals' freedom to form opinion. Now, compliance. This treaty is legally binding but lacks punitive measures for non-compliance. Compliance will be primarily maintained through monitoring. Now, Aditya L1 mission completion of the first halo orbit. ISRO's Aditya L1 completes first halo orbit around Sun Earth L1 point. This is the L1 point, and Aditya L1 was placed into this halo orbit in early 2004, taking 178 days to complete one revolution around Lagrange L1 point. The Lagrange points are position values where the gravitational pull of two large masses precisely equal the centripetal forces required for small objects to move with them. There are five Lagrange points L1, L2, L3, L4, L5 in a two body system, with L4 and L5 being stable. Halo orbit is repeating three-dimensional orbit around one of the L1, L2, L3 Lagrange points in a three body system. Now, advantages of placing Aditya L1 in halo orbit: ensuring a mission lifetime of 5 years, minimizing fuel usage by reducing station keeping maneuvers, maintaining a clear uninterrupted view of the sun. Now, about the mission, Aditya L1 mission launched in 2023, India's first space mission dedicated to studying the sun. Objective is to investigate sun's corona, solar emission, solar winds, flares, coronal mass ejection, along with continuous imaging of sun. Now, payload equipped with seven payloads, including the Visible Emission Line Chronograph (VELC) and Solar Ultraviolet Imaging Telescope, among others. DDoS attacks. Reports suggest that Platform X faced DDoS attack before streaming an interview between Elon Musk and US presidential candidate Donald Trump. About DDoS attack, a distributed denial of service attack floods a website or service with massive traffic, making it unavailable to users. Attackers use botnets, that is, compromised device, to send excessive requests, overwhelming the server and causing slow or no response. The signs as slower internet speeds and difficulty in accessing online services indicate a possible DDoS attack. Now, Snowblind malware, new malware Snowblind is targeting Android phone users. About the malware Snowblind, this malware is designed to steal banking credentials by bypassing security features. Malware is any software designed to farm a computer or network or a server. The malware repackages apps to hide accessibility features that can capture sensitive informations like login credentials and gain remote access to the app. Snowblind typically injects users who install apps from untrusted sources. It infects. Now, Denisovans. Researchers have identified bone remains from the Tibetan Paishia Krast cave belonging to Denisovan. About Denisovans, Denisovans are extinct humanoid species related to modern humans. Denisovans lived in various environments from the cold mountains of Siberia, Tibet to the jungles of Southeast Asia during the last ice age. DNA evidence indicate that Denisovians are related to both Neanderthals and modern humans and likely interbred with both. Denisovans share common ancestor with modern humans and Neanderthals. This ancestor, Homo heidelbergensis, is likely lived in Africa. Now, Hayflick limit. Biomedical researchers Leonard Hayflick, known for proposing the Hayflick limit related to aging, recently passed away. About the Hayflick limit, it is the number of times that normal human embryonic cells can divide before they succumb to senescence. It depends on the length of chromosal telomeres, which decrease in standard cell with every cell division. Hayflick suggested that the limit on cell divisions leads to aging. Scientists estimate that the human lifespan limits to be around 125 years, beyond which no amount of diet, exercise, or genetic modification can extend life. Now, circumnutation. A new study sheds light on the potential role of circumnutation in shaping plant growth patterns. About circumnutation, circumnutation are zigzag or spiral movements that occur naturally in growing plants, especially in stems and tendrils. It is a natural behavior found in many plant species, enabling them to adapt to their environment and optimizing growth potential. Now, examples would be climbing tendrils. In plants like peas and beans, tendrils slowly circle to latch onto the nearby structure for support. Sunflower stems, young sunflower stems spiral to the position themselves towards light, enhancing light capture. Now, silicon carbide. India's first silicon carbide manufacturing facility to be set up in Odisha. About silicon carbide, it is a hard synthetic crystalline compound of silicon and carbon. It is known as carborundum. It has excellent thermal conductivity, superior mechanical strength, and excellent resistance to wear and oxidation. Application: it is it finds application in semiconductor devices, mechanical seals, structural ceramics, heat exchangers, optical mirrors, and ballistic armors. Now, tantalum, it is a rare metal with a symbol Ta and atomic number 73. It is gray, heavy, very hard, and corrosion resistant. Major producers: Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Brazil, Nigeria. Characteristics: pure tantalum is ductile, meaning it can be stretched, pulled, or drawn into thin wire. It is also an extremely high melting point. Uses: tantalum is used in electronics for capacitors, aerospace for high performance alloys, in medical devices due to its biocompatibility, components for chemical plants, nuclear power plants, etc. Now, junk DNA refers to non coding regions of DNA that do not produce protein. DNA contains instructions that are used to create proteins in cells. Initially, these areas were believed to have no functions, which is why they were called junk. However, recent studies have shown that in many of these sequences are essential for gene regulation, chromosomal structure, and genome evolution. Now, dark oxygen refers to a newly discovered process of oxygen production in deep seas areas without sunlight where photosynthesis cannot occur. Scientists believe polymetallic nodules on ocean floor may release oxygen by splitting water molecules when they transport electric charges. Polymetallic nodules are lumps on the ocean floor made up of iron manganese rock containing valuable metals like manganese, copper, and nickel. Sonoluminescence. Sonoluminescence is the phenomena where tiny gas bubbles in a liquid glow briefly when exposed to strong sound waves. Examples would be the pistol shrimp, as mentioned earlier. These shrimps create sonoluminescence by snapping their claws rapidly, forming a bubble that emits light when it collapses. Pistol shrimp. A bubble in water. In laboratories, homoluminescence is often observed when intense sound waves are applied to small gas bubbles in water, causing them to emit a brief flash of light. That'll be it for this section. We'll be moving on to the social issues and miscellaneous sections in the next video.